Hey friends, and welcome to Launch, Grow and Scale mini course. My name's Sam and I'll be your host. I want to run you through a bunch of different things today, but really this course is all about adding some value to you and your business and how to set yourself up better for 2021. You see, it's bloody tough out there for small businesses. So I want to show you some details around that, why it's tough and why you guys are feeling like it's a bit of a challenge out there. Also want to give you some free downloads and templates. I know you guys always like some free stuff, so I've got a bit of that for you. A bunch of different downloads that I've used in my business for many years, and things that have really helped me get organised, increase my productivity, and certainly for planning. So I'll be passing those on to you as well. There's a whole lot of tips and ideas on how to grow your business in 2021. I'll be looking at, as I said, why business has been challenging. 2020 has been full of headwinds, and what you can do about it in 2021. That said, I reckon 2021 is going to be a huge year. We've got very low interest rates at the moment. We've got a share market that's just gone through the roof in the last few weeks. We've also got a housing market that's looking very, very strong. And when people are confident and they're feeling good and they're feeling happy and they're spending money, they're going to spend money most likely at your business as well. And we want to make sure you're set up well for that. I'll be going through my 12-step plan on how to launch, grow and scale your business. And again, that can be fairly detailed, but with my clients, I do tend to move around a bit depending on what needs attention at that particular time. I'll also discuss briefly the power of coaching and mentorship. As I'm going through this, I'm going to assume that all of you want to grow your business revenue and your profits faster. You also probably want to increase your business value, and you want to do that with less stress, with happier staff and clients. So I'm making that assumption for everybody who's running their business. But it's not for everyone. You know, having a coach and having a mentor is not for everyone, and small business is not for everyone, and I'm not for everyone. So it's important to find your team and surround yourself with people that are going to support you to launch, grow and scale your business. Let's look at a couple of myths out there. 98% of businesses don't go bust in the first 5 years. I'll look at some of those statistics a little bit more closely. It's a lot less than that, but small businesses are under a lot of pressure, and I want to highlight that, but also what to do about that. You're probably not going to get rich quick. It does take time to build a small business, but you do reach certain tipping points, and I find they're around, the 250K turnover mark, around the 500 to 750 turnover, $1 million to $1.5 million, and $2.5 million to 3 to 5. Each one of those are massive benchmarks in the growth of your business, and each time you reach those goals, something else needs to change. As I always say, what got you here is not going to get you there. You're going to need to educate yourself moving forward. You're going to need to be patient and try things out. You're going to try to try things out, and you've got to be patient. You've got to understand that you are going to make mistakes. Life is not perfect. I've made some huge mistakes, and that is an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to get better with every mistake. I'll take a deep dive now into why business is tough in Australia, and then show you what you can do to get out of that particular position, and how you can launch, grow and scale your business so you're not going to be a statistic, and how you're not going to be also not only a statistic of failure, but also making sure you can get out of the business what you're putting into it, making sure you're going to earn more running a business than what you would if you were working somewhere else without the risk of running your own business. So let's have a look at what the small business environment looks like in Australia. There's about 2.3 million businesses in Australia in total, and 98% of those are small business. So they do make up the vast majority of businesses, and they also employ the majority of people. A small business in Australia is a business that is defined as turning over less than $2 million a year. And we'll also be looking at the fact that of all of those businesses, around about 60% earn less than $200,000 a year. So if you're running a small business, I always say to people, you want to make sure that you're getting out of the business what you're putting into it. And you're going to also understand that running a small business is a risk, and making sure you get that risk-return ratio right for you. So if you can earn more money by not running your own business and also take less risk, well, why would you not have a job? So if you're going to get into business, put your head down, your tail up, and take it seriously, and let's grow this thing and turn it into something that's really going to make a difference, not only to you, but the people around you and to your family. So the idea is to transform your business and your life. 98% of small businesses fail. We often hear this as a bit of a statistic. These numbers here give you a bit of an idea of what the survival rates are of small business. Businesses less than 4 employees, after about 5 years, about 30 to 40% of those businesses do go broke or disappear. So the failure rate is still very high. So you want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success and making sure you're educating yourself and changing as much as you possibly can to ensure progression in your business. Use of the internet is interesting. A lot of people order things on the internet, but they don't necessarily use the internet to sell their services and their products. And I think this is one of the greatest failures I see. A lot of businesses might have a website, but geez, they're bad. So we're seeing 40% of businesses, small businesses, have a web presence, which is massively low in my opinion. That should be closer to 80 to 100%. I don't understand how you can do business and launch, grow and scale without having a good website. So not only having a website, but making sure it's a good one, and also setting yourself up for e-commerce if that is suitable for your particular business. And again, the small number there of only 32% means that, close to 68% of businesses need a greater and stronger online presence. Social media use, we can see this is all Facebook, which is why I've circled that there, about 86% in the current environment, and that's probably closer to 90% in 2021. November 18, it was 86%. So you can see it's mainly Facebook. Instagram's about 38%, LinkedIn only 24%. I reckon that's probably grown substantially. That's probably pushing over 30% now. YouTube's still fairly strong. It's a great do-it-yourselfer. Snapchat and Pinterest, they're minnows. So if you're looking at advertising and getting your business out on social media, Facebook's probably the place to be. Cash flow is king. This is something that small businesses just don't understand. And frankly, we're poorly educated in this country and around the world when it comes to how we manage our money. This is a really interesting one, looking at the invoices that small businesses send out. Most people are following up at least twice to get payment, but over 10% of people need to follow up 4 to 8 times. So the fact is, small business owners, just like you, are simply not getting paid. You're having to fight just to get paid. 92% say that they would have generated more revenue in the previous year if their cash flow was improved. So some of the strategies I put together for my clients are making sure you've got recurring revenue, looking at ways to take payment up front, whether we take 50% now and 50% later, but looking at different ways that you can invoice people to make sure that you're getting paid much faster, because the speed of money in your business it's your lifeblood. So the faster we can have that money coming in, the faster you can utilize it and redeploy those funds into areas that can grow your business, whether it's more marketing, whether it's greater communication with your clients, whether it's hiring staff and getting the people you need to launch, grow and scale your business. The other interesting thing is small business owners just don't ask for help. You don't ask for it and you don't get it. So you can see the tiny little number down the bottom there, 7.3% of micro businesses and small businesses ask for help and get government assistance, as opposed to larger businesses that are getting around 43% of help. So between 7 and 16% of small businesses get and ask for government assistance. That assistance can come in many forms. It's about building your team, getting the right advice, getting a mentor or a coach, whatever it might be. You really do need to ask for help, because as I said before, what got you here is not going to get you there. So you're going to need some better ideas, some different ideas if you want to have a paradigm shift in how your business is going to launch, grow and scale in the future. So just some conclusions from those numbers, and I'll look at other things in a bit more detail in a moment. But 98% of businesses don't go bust, so there is a strong chance that you're going to survive. But we want to make sure you're earning what you deserve. Small businesses employ 5 million people around this country. So that means you're taking all the risk. You're employing people, you're paying their superannuation, you're managing their rosters, you're putting up with all the politics and everything else. But importantly, most people aren't earning what they deserve in running their small business. And that's just not fair. It's got to change. You want to make sure you're earning multiples of what you would be if you were employed by someone and not taking the risk of running a small business. So you've got to ask for help. You've got to educate yourself, and you've got to make changes that you probably have been resistant to making in the past. Facebook is king if you want to advertise on social media, and I look at different ways to advertise for my clients, often just to your existing clients, grabbing the low-hanging fruit, communicating with your network and the people around you to get the low-hanging fruit and the sales ringing very, very quickly. Interestingly enough, 92% would do a whole lot better if cash flow was better. So that's a bit of a no-brainer really, but it is fascinating that people have to ask 8 to 12 times just to get paid. So you're not only going to have to work hard, you're not only going to have to work smart, but you're probably going to have to ask for help. So what are you going to do about it in 2021? It's about learning and it's about experience. Now, learning can be a very slow process, and formal learning often doesn't cover things like Facebook marketing, and it definitely doesn't cover how you manage your money in small business. Even some of the more specific courses that you do will not cover how you manage money in your business. I've studied accounting at university. I've got a degree in accounting and a double major in financial planning, and I can assure you they never covered how to run cash flow in your business. We also look at experience. So understanding the experience, making mistakes and learning along the way, well, that can be a very slow and painful process. So I often suggest to people to become part of a mastermind, to get a mentor, which is free. You can talk to mentors in your business. I always say have a younger and an older mentor, and look at how they can help improve your business. Younger because they're probably got a lot more energy and they're challenging, pushing the boundaries and learning new things. They're all about innovation and technology. An older mentor will help guide you. They provide the wisdom and the mindset that might be needed to make your business stronger in the future and to create a wiser future for yourself. Experience certainly requires blood, sweat and tears. I've certainly seen a heck of a lot of blood, sweat and tears, but I've also bought 6, 7 and 8 figure businesses, or bought and sold 6, 7 and 8 figure businesses. So, the blood, sweat and tears pay off. I've seen the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and I'll talk about those in just a few moments. But the idea is to learn from someone who's walked the path, and that gives you accelerated learning. They give you strategic and tactical tips to avoid the heartaches, and expert mentorship will also give you the contacts and connections that you need to launch, grow and scale your business. So who am I? Well, I am a little bit controversial. I'll talk about the accolades. I've, as I said, bought and sold multiple 6, 7 and 8 figure businesses around the country. I have built up an accounting and financial planning business, which I sold for 8 figures some years ago. And I've also won multiple awards in financial advice, and my staff won awards in accounting as well. So I've also run a TV show for 7 years called Your Money, Your Call on Sky News Business. And I used to write for Money Magazine and for the Australian Financial Review. So they're the accolades. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But unfortunately, when you put yourself in the limelight, you can also be subject to significant criticism. And this is also one of the problems in putting yourself out on social media. We made some administrative mistakes. I mixed up a deferred benefit with a defined benefit for a client, and it was a complaint that went absolutely nuclear. And they said they could have, although I dispute the fact, they could have lost $500,000. They didn't. Certainly when you're managing a few $100 million for people, there's always a risk of losing money. But we did genuinely make an error. We apologised for the error, refunded the money and refunded the fees for that particular client, but they did not lose the money. But nevertheless, because of my position and where I was, it was a nuclear fall, and I was involved in the Royal Commission into Financial Services and subsequently banned as a financial advisor. So it was a huge fall. So we've gone from very high highs to very significant falls. And for that reason, some of you may not want to work with me, and that's fine. Listen, I understand that, but I'm pressing forward. I've got a heck of a lot of experience. But a funny thing was, after the Royal Commission, a lot of people got in contact with me and asked me questions. They sought my counsel, and still today, 2 years after, people are still seeking my counsel, and I just love to help. That hasn't changed. And some of those people I'm working for nothing, and some of those people I work for commercial purposes to make money. And I'm entitled to do that. So that's what the comeback's all about. I've been hosting a podcast called Launch, Grow and Scale Your Business. I love doing that. I've got some of the best marketers from around the world, literally around the world, on that podcast, and that is really designed to help you guys launch, grow and scale your business as well. So let's move on. We've talked about the good bits and the bad bits and the challenges. There's always going to be challenges in business, and that's just a fact of life. The bigger your business, the bigger the challenges. It's like having little kids with little problems. When you have a big business, you have big problems, and that's just something that we have to live with, and we are in a far more litigious society these days. So what does it look like now? Well, let's look at, there's the podcast. I won't go in a lot of detail about that. We'll talk about the business coaching later, but not in a huge amount of detail. I want to talk about my methodology, which is really going to help you launch, grow and scale your business. I look at a 12-step module process, which starts off with You Inc., looking at yourself as a company, because the fact is, your business is a characterization of you. Whatever's going on in your head is going to be personified in your business. So if you're having troubles and challenges in your own life, they're going to be playing out in your business. If you're full of chaos and overwhelm, then you're going to have a chaotic and overwhelmed business. It's going to be one of the challenges that you're going to have. And you've got to have your mindset, to have your mindset straight is absolutely fundamental in running a successful business. So what's your experience in growing a successful business? That will play out in the growth of your business. What's your formal education? Do you have an education? Do you need to educate yourself? Let's be honest about what you need to do to get yourself to where you want to be. Who's in your team and who's got your back? Who's got your back at home? How's your mental health? Are you drinking? Are you smoking? How's your physical health? Are you exercising? You know, your business, as I said, is a characterization of you. So we look at You Inc. very closely, and let me be straight here. It's never perfect. And we're always circling back, certainly with most of my clients, every week, every fortnight, we circle back to where's your head at, how you feeling. It's usually the first question I ask my clients is how you feeling today, where's your head at. Strategy is all about planning, making sure you've got a written plan, understanding and being able to articulate your values, your purpose, your one-liner. How do you describe what you do to other people? Your goals, 1, 3 and 5 year goals, your perfect day, your perfect week, your perfect month, your perfect year. How do you set yourself up for success? And that's what the Perfect Week download is all about. And you can download this free from my website. I'll make it available for you after this recording. But the idea of this is to do this twice. Once is your actual week now. What does it look like? What are you actually doing with your time? How are you spending your time? Are you doing physical activity? Is your mental well-being okay? Are you spending time with your friends and family where you want to be? What are your top 5 priorities? What are your roadblocks? And daily, what are the things you need to do to launch, grow and scale your business successfully? And are you doing the right things at the right time? That's what the Perfect Week is all about. I then get you to draw up your perfect week as an ideal week. What's it going to look like in the perfect world? How are you going to spend your time between 6 and 8 a.m.? You're going to be getting breakfast. You're going to be helping out your kids get dressed. You're going to be exercising or walking the dog, grabbing your coffee. At 9 o'clock or 8:30, you're going to be hitting the phones, talking to the people that are important to you and your business, and making sure you're just keeping focus throughout your week, but also taking time out to manage your own mental well-being and making sure you're physically healthy and mentally healthy along the way. We also look at your perfect year. How's your year going to be mapped out? What do you need to look out for? If you're planning events and putting things in place for your clients, what do you need to look out for? Is a State of Origin night, AFL Grand Final. You don't want to be booking events or things to do for your clients around these sorts of dates because it will affect your business. I've certainly been in that position before. I've had events booked on State of Origin night and wondered why it's all crickets and no one's jumping on a webinar or turning up to an event. So just mapping out your year ahead so you've got a really clear vision of what the year is going to look like and what the roadblocks could be. What are your top 5 goals for the year? Taking those out into a longer term thought process. Money. A lot of businesses are constrained by money. If you had more money, you got to have money to make money, as they say. You don't necessarily have to have money to make money, but you certainly need to manage your money to be successful in business, because not only do you have to manage what you're drawing out of the business, but also what might need to be put back in the business and what needs to be paid out of the business, whether it's regular tax, installment tax, or whether it's superannuation, or just staff wages, GST payments, those sorts of things create stress in a business. And do you have enough capital to actually operate? And should you be in business if you don't have enough money behind you? Access to loans if you need them, or having 3 months worth of term deposits sitting in a bank account will certainly help you be successful in times of economic stress. So cash flow is the number one problem businesses fail. So how can you fix it? We talked about a few ideas just a moment ago. Do you understand the language of money, and how are you going to educate yourself on money? Do you have the capital to exist and to grow in the way that you want to? Do you get a monthly P&L report, profit and loss report, sent to you within 5 business days of every month? I recommend that for my clients, so you can see, I mean, essentially it acts as a navigation system for your business. You need to be able to read the financials month in and month out, understanding your tax accounts, understanding superannuation, risk versus return. Do you make enough money to justify being in business? I remember having a chat with a potential client that was talking about turning over $3 million, and I said, that's fantastic, but you look a bit stressed to me. And she'd sent me her P&L, and I said, can I just share with you what your P&L says to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but this is what I think your life looks like by looking at your P&L and having a brief chat to you. Looks like you're working your backside off. You rarely see your husband and your kids because you're at work between the hours of 7 and 6, and you're only earning $55,000 a year. Yet you're telling me you're turning over $3 million a year. The problem is that you're not making enough money to justify working for yourself, and you're certainly not making enough money to justify the amount of effort you're putting into your business. So what we need to do is turn that around. You need to get enough money out of the business to not only justify many times the amount of work and effort you're putting in it, but we also want to set yourself up for success with your family and your husband, and make sure your relationship stays strong and that there's a legacy for you at the end of it. And her response, she actually started crying because I described exactly what was happening in her business. And that's all about money. See, money is not there to just for the sake of money. Your money's there to support not only your lifestyle, but also help you contribute back to your community, and also to allow your family and the people around you to get back what they deserve. And importantly for you, to get back what you deserve. It is how we keep track of success in business. But there are other secondary factors that need to be taken into account. Operations all about systems and procedures. Do you have an operations manual? Do you have a written process for tasks, checklists for repetitive tasks? If someone stepped out of the business, can someone else step back in to replace them easily? And is there a set procedures manual to allow them to do that? We look at your premises and your equipment, and we look at the assets of the business to make sure they're working for you. Customers, this is where so many people get so lost when it comes to managing a business. Who's your ideal client? What do they look like? I want you to be able to describe your ideal client avatar. How old are they? Where do they live? Gender. Some of the demographic factors you need to know and understand. And then the psychographics. How do they think and behave? What do they read? What do they watch? How do they make decisions? And we want to know what the problems are that you're solving for that ideal client. And we want to know how you're going to build the know, like, and trust factor for your clients as well. So this is a really important process. I often do a 2 to 5 hour workshop with clients around understanding their product and how they're going to set up the messaging to make sure their business is successful in the future. Understanding your product and how you're going to market that product is fundamental to your success, but also understanding your unique value proposition, how your product and service will solve your ideal client avatar's problems, and how you're going to compare to your competitors, your pricing, your programming, your packages, your distribution. What's all that going to look like? Innovation and technology, how is it going to affect your business? And are you going to be set up for success? Or are you going to be like Video Easy and out of business? Or are you going to be like Tesla cars and continuing to rise in a rising market full of innovation with the blue ocean factor and the wind in your back? People. This is one of the most frustrating parts about running a business, I think, is managing people, because it's so fluid. We want to make sure you got written job descriptions, excuse me, get a little dry there, written and signed contracts, job advertisements. You want to make sure you've got a career progression, staff review processes, staff retreats and planning days where you take people away and you talk to them closely. We want to look at professional development and education for your staff so they feel like they're progressing when they're working with you. And I, importantly, want to impress upon you the staff value proposition. You need to make sure you're adding value to your staff over time. So important. Marketing. Oh man, where the hell do I start? This is one of the number one things I talk to about clients. One of the main reasons you don't grow as well. You know, the state of people's websites generally is horrendous. And we saw before only 30% of small businesses even have a website, which to me is absolutely fascinating. But it's not only about having a website, it's how you set up your messaging on that, how you describe yourself to your ideal client avatar, and making sure you're setting them up as the hero and not yourself. So you're not talking too much about why you're good, why you're great, why your product is the best out there. Talk about how your product works for that ideal client and how it's going to satisfy their biggest problems and frustrations, because that's really what you're there to do. You're there to service your ideal client, and that's what I want to see you doing. When you're setting up your website, when you're designing your website, when you're designing your colors, your logos, your images, your videos, your graphics, your voice, however you're going to communicate, it needs to be done in a way that speaks to your ideal client avatar. So marketing is absolutely paramount. So hopefully a few of those tips there are going to help you. We talk about Facebook advertising, Google, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc. with a lot of my clients, and I can assure you Facebook is definitely the king in that department. So there we go. That gives you a bit of an overview of marketing, but it is so far reaching, and setting yourself up for success in marketing is fundamental. This gives you a bit of an idea on a 10-step process I do with my clients, and I'll make sure this is available as a free download on the website for you as well. It's a 10-step process that shows how we identify our ideal client avatar. We talk about the messaging, the 3 to 5 key messages you need to communicate effectively, how to design the website wireframe that's going to work for you and for your clients, putting together a lead magnet. It's like a free PDF or a free download on your website that's going to add value and give people a sample of what you do, how you're going to drive traffic to your website, understand the conversion process and the onboarding process, and how you're going to deliver your product effectively to your ideal clients, and how you're going to get feedback, and how you're going to innovate and evolve your product. So you can download this on the website if you like at samhendo.com. It's yours for free. Happy to give it to you. Compliance, well, geez, I've had so much experience in compliance in the last 3 years, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on legal fees and compliance. It is absolutely paramount these days in this much more litigious society in which we live. It's just a fact that we got to live with. You got to make sure you've got your insurances in place, making sure that you understand the regulatory regime and the legislation that governs your industry, employment laws, workplace safety, your tax obligations. And as part of that, we've got to make sure on our website we have the privacy policies, or we've got written client agreements and supply agreements in place. You really got to cover your butt these days wherever you possibly can, because there are some people out there that really want to make things tough for you. That's just a reality, and we've got to make sure you're well positioned if that happens. And what happened to me is probably not going to happen to you, but it's certainly an extreme case, and there's certainly been some interesting learnings from that process. So understanding compliance is paramount to your success. Also, exiting your business. Building your business up for sale is really important. You understand that your business might be saleable. It could actually be one of your biggest assets. And certainly if you're in a business with recurring revenue like real estate or financial advice or accounting, or some other professional services areas, and even e-commerce, your business could be highly saleable. So we want to make sure, even if your business isn't saleable, what factors contribute to that, such as EBIT, or earnings before interest and tax, also known as profitability. How can we build your profitability so your business could be either saleable or more profitable in the future? Also look at philanthropy, how we give money away, and how we provide volunteer services for certain areas that are going to benefit our community. And philanthropy, for me, has certainly been absolutely paramount in the last few years, and it's certainly made me feel more comfortable about who I am and what I do and how I give back. Are you socially responsible in your business? Have you integrated philanthropy into your business? And understand how it's also a value for your staff, because it's not only just good PR, but it makes a difference, and it builds staff morale, makes a difference to your community. So I want you to ask yourself how you can contribute back to your community and to your staff. It's so important. It's something that's really added value to my life over the years, and I've continued to do that. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an overview of the 12-step program and some of the things that you need to be considering when you're looking to launch, grow and scale your business. I offer a tailored program, a one-on-one program, and it is tailored for each client. We do have 9 spots left. If you're interested in that, by all means, jump on the website and have a look. I'm not going to go too hard on the sell today. Also running a mastermind kicking off in 2021. So if you are interested in that, make sure you register. Coaching with us is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Just click on the little buttons. Step 2, you fill out the discovery questionnaire and the business health diagnostic questionnaire, which gives you a great insight. And then we jump on the phone for about 30 minutes to have a bit of a chat about whether we're a good fit or whether I'm a good fit to work in your business. So it's very easy. Steps 1, 2, 3. So stop wasting your time and your money. It's just frustrating, and you are going to go around in circles. If you don't have someone to lean on, someone to ask questions to, someone to bounce ideas off, your process of growth is going to be a lot slower. And certainly I've got a coach. I've had coaches in the past, and I've been part of a number of masterminds, some of them paying up to $100,000 a year to help me launch, grow and scale my business and surround myself with successful people who think like I do. So if you are interested, by all means, jump on board, book yourself a call, and I'll jump on the phone with you and have a bit of a chat. If you're not, no problem at all. Hopefully you can get some value out of the mini course that I've shown you today. And I love this quote, be the change you want to see in the world, from Mahatma Gandhi. And that's always a challenge, is bringing about change and progress. So if you are interested in pursuing some coaching, let's have a bit of a chat. Make sure you register, leave your name, your phone number and your email address there, and I'd love to have a bit of a chat to you. Otherwise, feel free, and make sure you grab the free downloads that are available on the website from today's teachings, and I hope they add some value. And shoot me some questions if you've got any questions along the way, and feel free to check out the Launch, Grow and Scale Your Business podcast as well. Thanks for watching. Hope it's helped out, and see you again sometime soon.